Come with me on a solo date to Ikea while I unpack my thoughts on religion. So, since I was a child, I've always felt different, as if I didn't belong. I'm a thinker and I will never change. I'm a seer, as some say, or I like to say I can see through the bullshit. And most importantly, I'm authentically me. These items are in no particular order, but again, this is about religion and my thoughts on it. So when I think about religion, I think about the church and how the people or the religious people within that church gives me cliquey vibes, and I can't stand cliques. I've never been a type of person that wanted to be a part of a clique because I like to be who I am. I don't want to be like anyone else, or I don't want to do something all because, the group is doing it. Ever since I was a child, I've always questioned authority and religion, not in a disrespectful way, but more so out of curiosity. Why are things the way they are? Who made up these rules? Who are you to tell me to do X, Y, Z? I've just always been a curious person. I'm still a curious grown ass woman. So the other day, I was having a conversation with an acquaintance about religion. She recently embraced the Christianity journey, and I'm all for change. A little bit about myself. I grew up, I wouldn't say I was immersed in the church, but my family did believe in going to church on Sundays and then Bible study, and then sometimes I would go to Saturday school. We didn't do Sunday school, but Saturday school. I also went to a Catholic school all the way up until the 8th grade. So pretty well versed, I would like to say, in Christianity. So we started talking about the Bible, and I always thought, even again as a kid, who wrote the Bible? How do you know who wrote it? And the person who wrote it, how they interpret it, how do you know if they interpreted it the way that the person spoke or wrote the Bible? Everyone's interpretation of the Bible is different, so how can you say your way is this the right way? And so I've always been curious as to how do you know that God actually wrote those words, the Bible, the red letters that are in the Bible. Again, those are questions that I still have now. Those are questions that I've had as a kid. I used to get in trouble for asking those types of questions. Why are there a million things you have to do to be loved and blessed by God? It's giving conditional love and blessing. So if you do this, I'll give you that. It's giving the vibes that a man wrote the Bible. The Bible never benefited women. It's always the men are in control and the women are supposed to be submissive. For me, religion has always felt controlling, very restrictive, even though there are snippets in the Bible that it talks about loving others, treating others, but in the same breath, it's controlling and restrictive. I've never felt at peace with going to church. It's always felt, it doesn't matter honestly what church I've gone to, it's always felt fake and hypocritical. When I would go to Mass, the priests, they were all kind, but then at the time when I was going to school, there were a lot of things coming out about priests molesting kids, and it's conflicting, is hypocritical. How can you be a priest and preach to the church when you're hurting kids? And unfortunately, I have to say not all priests or not all pastors, because people take the whole it'll be taken out of context. I've times when I've gone to church, I've had pastors as well as deacons lust after me as a teenager. So again, the pastors, they're getting in the pulpit, they're saying you shouldn't do this is bad, that is bad, but then in the same breath, they're cheating on their spouses, they're having children, they're driving fancy cars, using the money from the church when the church is falling apart. I could just go on and on as to why I never felt at peace with going to church. I don't need religion to tell me how to treat people. I think it's odd when people have to refer to the Bible in order to be respectful. You should just want to be respectful and loving as a human. Religion also opens up the doors to different types of abuse. I remember one Bible passage we spoke about in school, and basically if someone does you wrong, I remember saying turn the other cheek. No, not turning the other cheek, and I'm not going to pray for you because you treated me like crap. So I couldn't discuss everything I wanted to discuss, but I do realize that my perspectives on religion isn't something most of society believes in, and you may or may not understand, and that's okay. But I do want to leave you with this one last quote from Carl Jung, and it really spoke to me, and he stated, "You speak truth I haven't made peace with." So a lot of times when you're speaking with someone, your truth or the truth, a lot of people are angry and they haven't made peace with certain things or their perspectives on religion. So that's all I have for you all. What are your thoughts on religion? Are you religious? Let me know. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and like. Be well.